Good morning, everybody. I'll try here. A lot of Ontario, I'm learning real fast, does not have good cell phone reception or internet, and that is interesting too. I found going across Western Canada on the Trans-Canada, internet almost right across the board, cell phone service as well too. I know because I have my satellite radio, and boy oh boy, Ontario is hit and miss. We'll see if this video goes. One little bar right now, and I see there's people on. I don't know if I'll get cut off, but hopefully not here. Hopefully I got a good range here. I want to get into Pastor Coates yesterday. I wanted to shoot a live on it. I couldn't. So what I want to do now is go on to the International Criminal Court, and that means soliciting a prosecutor. There's a number of prosecutors throughout the world. When I get situated tonight, Sault Ste. Marie, that's my next stop, my last stop before I get to my destination in Toronto. So we're going to go through that list. I'm going to look at all the prosecutors, the ones that I want to target for Pastor Coates, and our politicians on freedom of movement, because those two charter rights are also two enshrined international rights, laws of this world for every UN nation. Canada is a UN nation. So the question is, we have to find a prosecutor that will take the case, much like what's going on with Palestine right now. We have to find a prosecutor who will take it on. We've already solicited all 5 Security Council members. USA, I had 2 State Departments bounce back my email. One has it. Whether they put it through, they sent me to the other department. And I don't know, that department sends it back saying cut out the body of the letter, all the pictures, which have a number of exhibits in it. We do that, we lose our bread and butter. It's just a crybaby letter at that point. That we have to keep it intact. But the other State Department for the US took it. They say it's not their responsibility, but they haven't responded on my 3rd send saying you're all we have. They haven't sent back a no. So it's been 2 days. I looked at my email. They have it. Whether they're going to push it through. Now, years ago, the media made fun of me. I used to have a Twitter. You can Google search my name. There's an article written by CBC on myself and Alberta Independence Party, and they said, oh, he's a big Trumper. I had like, at the time, 9,000 followers, all Americans. What I used that for, that the media didn't understand, is whenever I had something that I wanted the U.S. to see, I wanted to force it. Nikki Haley was one of the 5 members of that time during the Trump administration. Whenever I wanted her to read something for that Alberta Independence Party, I solicited the American followers on the Trump train, and I got them, a number of them. Lots of times I had over 1,000 people send any letter I had to Nikki Haley to forward it, her tagged. So of course she read it, because she looks, oh geez, I got 1,000 messages from Americans on this guy's letter. That's what I used it for. I think it was an intelligent move. The Canadian media didn't see it for what it was. You look at my Twitter now, I have 90 followers. I follow 170 people. It's not who you follow. Well, for me, it's who I follow, but it's who follows me, which is very important. Twitter is an excellent tool. I'll never get rid of it. Every government in the world uses it. Every government. It's an international communication tool. The best one out there. Best one. I learned that years ago, and that's what I've always used Twitter for. So in relation to James Coates now, I look at it, what we can do. Sorry, I just got to set something here. Good. Okay, what we can do is use Twitter the same way. I don't want to build up a big American following. But I think what I'll do is, for temporary reasons, I'm going to follow as many Bible Belt churches right across America, try to get their following. I might even set up another Twitter account and do the same thing, and that will force Linda Thomas Greenfield, who has about 1,000 likes a day on tweets on average. So it's hard to get a message to her unless we get that mass American movement. So that's what we have to do, Canadians, Albertans, everybody. That's what we have to do. Target Christian churches across what they call the Bible Belt of America. Try to build up a following and get that letter that way to force her to look at it. In the meantime, still go to the International Criminal Court, go to all the prosecutors, hit them really hard, find the ones, which I got to research tonight, which ones we're going to. There's a number of them. There's Canadian ones too. We don't want to touch any of the Canadian prosecutors. We have to go, African prosecutors are probably the best. Any of the independent states of Africa that are trying to do Pan-Africa, which is the league of all African countries. They're by far the furthest along with colonialism. They understand what we're going through here. They're likely to prosecute this. As funny as that is, it's true. So that's what we're going to go for, former colonials as prosecutors. That's our target. That's our best chance of getting a case done and sent in. And what that case will be, if they're going to arrest Pastor Coates, which is to be locked away till May 3rd earliest, he's going to be heard, which means he's going to do 4 months in jail on criminal code with absolutely nothing in the criminal code. It's definitely a human rights violation. However, if that's the case, that Canada's going to do that, then the international, what we're saying is the International Criminal Court should prosecute Premier Jason Kenney, Opposition Leader Rachel Notley, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Opposition Leader Aaron O'Toole. Now why? Why, Canadians? Freedom of movement. The politicians said freedom of movement, which is why all the variants are here, why so many people have died of COVID. There's a clear number of exhibits. You're all going to get to see all the documents. I've saved them all from the government for an entire year. Every single one. Literally hundreds and hundreds of them. Whether they've deleted it or not, I have them in the original. Okay? Thousands of exhibits if we want, but I'm going to go back through them. I've kept them in a nice folder. A whole year of evidence, real exhibits. And the reality is, it was our government, their choice to do freedom of movement way up here, and then turn around and tell all domestic Canadians down here, we're stripping away all your rights and freedoms. But yet the government imposed freedom of movement when the rest of the world didn't do that. They did not. That's the big difference here. We also have to, any of the International Criminal Court lawyers, we also have to make a letter going to the U.S. saying, look, we know you didn't utilize freedom of movement, but Canada did. That's what the issue is here. James Coates wasn't overseas collecting COVID and COVID variants and bringing it back to Canada. The Canadian government decided to do that, as well as Jason Kenney, Premier. Why we hit Aaron O'Toole and Rachel Notley is because they are the official opposition leaders. One of the province of Alberta, the other official opposition leader of all of Canada. Their job is to see these things and hit them, and they never did, not once. When you look at their policies, they fully embrace it. You can't put freedom of movement up here and say that's okay when you know full well COVID spreads from airplanes. The variants came from the exact countries that Canada and the province of Alberta. So Canadians and Albertans understand that. Jason Kenney said bring in another 10,000 for Alberta. He was complacent, actually fully endorsing it. Aaron O'Toole said nothing about it. Rachel Notley, NDP opposition, said nothing about it. All of that was perfectly fine. Bring as many people from Hong Kong as possible, knowing full well that's where it originated from. That's where those UK variants ultimately come from, is UK did the same thing. We're not targeting UK. They're a UNSC member. It's not our job. Well, it's not even our right to go after that nation, and we're not going to. That's going to be clear and explicit. This is only about Canada. Canada's UN state that did this. Highest numbers in the world, everybody. Highest numbers. Alberta took the most in and the most people out, meaning maybe domestics left Canada, whatever, from Alberta, but Alberta took in the most international travelers all through the pandemic, all the way up to December of 2020. So it was too late. We had all the variants. We also had the most COVID sent in with the least amount of screening, all of it. I have all the clear evidence, so it doesn't matter. World has to see that. It's in clear data from our own governments, both federally and provincially. And whether they delete all that from now forward, it's all been logged, screenshotted, put into picture format. I couldn't make it up. The government could try to deny it. I can't see them. Can't see them doing that. No one's going to say, oh, it's not true, because it is. And it's in the cloud now anyway. Everybody, lots of people have seen it. So I can't see the government trying to deny it. Justin Trudeau's done public statements trying to say, oh no, we canceled all that. Yeah, well, guess what? Canceling it January of 2021 doesn't erase a whole 1 year history. It does not. Through 2 phases of COVID and the variants, doesn't erase it. Next thing I want to get into, everybody's messaging me. I got that last night. I'm on such an aggressive travel plan here. I have no time, hardly any internet. And I want to get into the 22 CAs and the policy of UCP. I tried to go in this yesterday, everybody. Jason Kenney is not obligated by law in any way. There's 0 provincial constitutions anyway, but there's no rules of governance. Any politician can lie their face off to you. When you elect a premier of any province or territory, especially in majority, when they're in majority, they're not bound to anything. Policies made by any political party, they can put it on a website, they can register it with the elections group of the province for Alberta Elections Alberta. Any Albertan or Canadian can call Elections Alberta and say, is it lawful for a politician to lie to you? And they're going to tell you there's no law that says they have to tell you the truth. That's reality. They'll tell you that. They have the laws. And when it comes to those CAs, that's just pillow talk to the party. The reality is the actual registered board, which is only really 3 people in the province of Alberta for every political party, have absolute say. Those CAs, even if 22 CAs for UCP come forward to demand a leadership review, Jason Kenney and his 2 official legally registered party board members with Elections Alberta decide on a CA. Jason Kenney, as leader, signs it off to form your CA. He also can pick up the phone, call Elections Alberta, and scrap a CA. He can loot it. It's been done by leaders many, many times. Many times. A premier or a leader can do that. They sign the CA into being, they can sign it out. Pick up the phone, it's done. Quick fax in, over. Jason Kenney's already demanding the names of all those who are coming forward from CAs around Alberta asking for leadership review. He can scrap all CA boards, president and down, and parachute in a whole new group of corrupted individuals who will do what Jason Kenney says. Jason Kenney will do anything to maintain his power, as all do, every single one. I have yet to see any political party not become drunk with the power, that ultimate crown power placed on their head. It happened to me with my party. There's other political parties who watched it happen too, and I only know of one one person who won their party back somewhat. And technically that's not official yet either. We'll see what happens. But the reality is, once somebody realizes that power, they become drunk with it. I see my internet's going down slowly again. The video might start getting sketchy here. I'm going to be real quick because we've got to get into a couple more topics. Now, why roll over into the next topic? 500,000 barrels of oil, 500,000 barrels of oil, Alberta locking out over the next several months going into spring shutdown season. This was never the Alberta way. Never. Until 2004. You can thank conservative governments provincially. It's an absolute provincial power. And I'm going to tell you something, everybody. Not Rachel Notley, not Jason Kenney have rescinded that. Before 2004, Alberta used to mandate all oil companies operating oil sands or other. The Canadian crude, the Leduc wells, the real sweet stuff, all of it. They were mandated to rotate shutdowns, so it's all year long. We should have minimums of no less than 75,000 barrels offline on any month throughout the year, 12 months a year. If you did that and you ran shutdown periods 12 months a year, mandated the oil companies like they used to. Social Credit Party was smart enough to figure it out. When you allow these companies to shut everything down in a 2-month period in the spring, 2-month in the fall, you open up 500 to 750,000 barrels of oil to the international community. It causes havoc. We lose a ton of money, and then we go into a winter where our oil prices crash in the garbage can. Rachel Notley, Jason Kenney, this has to stop. It's a premier's job. Jason Kenney is a scumbag, as was Rachel Notley before him. Left or right, Canadians, Albertans, left or right, it's about up and down. When I say up or down, how much crown power up here, power in the hands of the few, or down here, everybody has the power. Putting the Canadian people first. In the province of Alberta, putting Albertans first. If we did that, you'd put all of Canada first. We'd have price stability, something OPEC wants. But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to allow foreign interests to absolutely bankrupt us. And who's it being done by? Greasy Rachel Notley and greasy Jason Kenney. One on the socialist reset, one on the globalist reset. Rachel Notley wants to end oil sands, wants to destroy Alberta, wants to have ultimate socialism. Jason Kenney wants to destroy Alberta too, in globalism for all his foreign buddies. They both have two different handlers. These concepts that Rachel and Jason Kenney, like all governments before, they embrace it because they can. It's mostly illegal within 3,000 miles of all our neighbor countries. That kind of political narrative is absolutely illegal. And in some of those countries, capital punishment exists. It's a little bit outside that radius. It's not in our 3,000 radius. But about 7,500 mile radius, there's a number of countries the politician would be put on death penalty, capital punishment. But for many of the ones in our 3,000 mile radius, those same politicians would be imprisoned. All through the US, it's illegal. All through Russia, illegal. I don't know about the other republics of Russia inside the Federation. I need Russian translators. I have many documents to go through. I need help with that. But when I get situated here, I'm going to really reach out and ask for help. Russia makes you work, which I get it. They want to see that you're putting the time in, I guess. It's the Russian way. But so far they've been super nice. They gave me all those, gave me access It's my job to find interpreters. I just need Russian readers. Read it out loud, record it. From the recording, a clear one, I can transfer that into English text. That's what I need. And I have the program for that. I did that actually for a politician in Alberta on another document. So they know I can do this. I'm very good at it. Law firms like that too. So anyways, everybody, this is my video this morning. I hope you all learned a lot. We need signatures. I'll make more posts when I get situated.